Hi, I'm Diane McInnes. Welcome to Families Future Present. Today, I'm delighted to be speaking with Annette Katchaluba. Annette is the Director of Child-Centered Divorce Services at By Peaceful Waters, a counseling service in Waterloo. I've had the good fortune of working with Annette on several files in her capacity as a family professional, as well as her capacity as a counselor and representative for children through the Office of the Children's Lawyer. Annette always has wonderful insights into looking at separation and divorce from the perspective of the child. And she's agreed to speak with me today on Families Future Present. Hi, Annette. I'm so glad you were able to join me today. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for making this work.
Yeah, no, I've really been looking forward to our conversation. I know you and I have talked so many times about the effect of conflict and separation on children, the good news and sometimes some of the bad news. So you've worked a lot and you've interviewed a lot of children. Tell me a little bit about what kids are telling you about their experience of their parents' separation.
Kids are pretty clear that that was not a great idea. Kids think about separation as it's good that the fighting has stopped or maybe been minimized, but they usually experience it as a trauma because in their mind, this was our family and their vision of their family doesn't change just because mom and dad have decided now that they can't be partners. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard for kids. And yet what I've learned from kids is that they're incredibly resilient. They can gain a level of acceptance about what their parents have decided for them. I think the best example that I have from a little boy was a guy that I interviewed. He was about 8. And I said to him, "How's it going?" And he looked at me and he said, "You know, Annette, plan A," thought that was so cute. Plan A was that my mom and dad would stay together in the same house. But the plan B is not so bad. I see my mom and I see my dad and I'm okay.
I know a lot of parents get into a lot of conflict and it's kind of a competition regarding their parenting styles and things like that. Now, I've seen it in court and I've seen it outside of court. And I know you've worked with kids in both situations too. So what's been your experience with, families as they go through different processes?
I think you really picked up on something important for kids, which is that it's when their parents are engaged in conflict that children really struggle. And I've learned from children that there is no perfect parenting schedule. There's no perfect arrangement that you can come up with. Really, what's important for kids is that they're freed up to love their mom and love their dad, and they get protected from the adult conflict. And my experience has been that as people are more steeped in conflict and they choose maybe a more combative process like a court process to deal with that the kids struggle more. And when I've watched parents right from the outset say, we are going to do this better, we're going to keep things peaceful, we're going to come up with solutions that are really going to be child focused, choosing a collaborative process right from the beginning, saying we want to kind of sit in a room with lawyers and resolve this on our own instead of handing away our decisions to a judge. I see kids thrive. I see them do a lot better. I see them say to me things like, plan B is not so bad. Because really it is about how you develop those ongoing skills and approaches to your parenting that you're developing in those early stages of separation. And if you can develop them well and have professionals around you that are supporting you to do that, your kids are going to be able to flourish. It's so protective for them.
Yeah, and I see that with my clients too, over the course of a collaborative process, for example, they're learning how the nature of their relationship has changed after the separation. And can you talk a little bit about that in terms of, how they can think about their parenting?
It's a very pointed relationship when you separate. The adult relationship is ended. It's not the adult relationship anymore that you have. What you're left with is your parenting relationship. And that's more like a business partner relationship. It has one goal. We are in the business now of raising children. And business partners do have to talk with one another a lot. They have to make important decisions. And sometimes, for the sake of the business, you have to move forward in a way that you don't necessarily love.
Mhm.
But if it keeps the business moving forward, then that's valuable. And so I do talk about that a lot with parents. It's the focus of a lot of my work, which is how do you engage with one another as business partners? Business partners don't think the same way. I don't know why it is that when people separate, they sort of get this idea like, okay, now we're just going to make an agreement. We're all going to think the same way, and here's how we're going to parent. And they end up in the same negative patterns that they had in the marriage. It's not about same. It's about making sure that you find a way to move forward that keeps your children out of conflict and frees them up to be connected to both parents, because that's where a child experiences the most health.
And I think that that just kind of, just to wrap up our conversation today, because I could chat with you all day about these, and you and I have had many conversations about the impact of separation and divorce on children, but there is hope. We've seen so many parents who do it right, who put their children first, and who really can keep the conflict in the room with the lawyers and the professionals, and really reassure children that they are loved and cared for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And those kids are like the little boy that I talked about in the beginning, who
Yeah.
say plan B is not so bad. I see my mom and I see my dad and I'm okay. And so, yeah, absolutely. Parents need to know that. Really, for kids, it's not always the ideal plan A that they had in their mind. It's about knowing that at the end of a separation, they're still freed up to love their mom and love their dad.
That's great. Thank you so much, Annette. I really enjoyed our conversation, and thanks for taking time out to spend it with us here.
Absolutely. It's a privilege.